Welcome to the High Rocks Heroes podcast. I am your host, Damien Botta, and let's get into the episode. Hey everyone, and welcome to the podcast episode today. And what we are going to be talking about is 2025. It is almost here. And what I'm going to cover in this episode today is what you can do to make 2025 the best year possible. Something I always say is we always want to set the tone, whether it's for the week, whether it's for the day, or whether it's for the year. And if you want 2025 to be your best year, let's absolutely dominate it by starting right now. Okay, no need to wait for 2025. And the episode, I really hope, and I hope this resonates with people who are just tired of the same old New Year's. They want a new way to start the year. You're not wanting to go out and just absolutely get smashed off your face drinking. You don't want to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning. You don't want to feel like shit on New Year's Day. You actually want to feel good. You want to prioritize your health, your fitness. You want to go out for a run on New Year's morning. If this is you, then this episode you're really going to resonate with. And what has really sparked me to do it is being so immersed in hybrid training in High Rocks this year. I've met so many people that have, resonated with so many people who were on the same mission. We have the same values. We prioritize our health, our wellness. And it's not only something that I've done for years and years and years and meeting a lot of people doing it, but I think culturally we can see now the younger generations, the kids in their early 20s aren't going out as much anymore. They're wanting to go to run clubs. They're wanting to do sports. They're wanting to do high rocks. And I just think people just don't want to just do the normal thing. Well, what is seen as to be normal, which is, crazy to me and a whole other subject. But it's like going out and absolutely getting impaired, right, is not, I don't think it's the cool thing to do anymore. So we're going to talk about it in this episode. And if this is you, if you're someone that's like, you know what, I want to make 2025 my best year. I want to get in great shape. I want to feel good. I want to train for high rocks. I really want to do so many good things in 2025. And I'm sort of just waiting to get through New Year's. It's like you can start now, and I'm going to show you how within this episode. So let's dive in. We've got lots to cover, and I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of practical steps in this. I'm going to keep it pretty short. I'm not going to deep dive too crazy on things, just because I really want you to really understand just the simplicity of it all. And if we can, agree on a lot of things throughout this podcast, you are really going to take a lot away that you can apply, and it's going to change. It's going to change your 2025. It's going to change your life. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So one thing that we want to think about when starting off 2025 is we don't need to wait till next year. Now, there's only literally a few more days, but you can start right now. And I just want to say Christmas time, holiday periods, like it is a time to definitely enjoy it. Family, friends, food, some, drinking, all these things are there to be enjoyed. Now, obviously anything to an extreme is not good, but I encourage all of the people that we train and coach that, you want to slow down. You want to not be so structured and regimented right now. You really want to just enjoy yourself. And for a lot of us, we still want to go to the gym. We still want to do runs. We still want to be active, but maybe we just don't want to follow a training program right now. Maybe we don't want to have to count calories, and you so shouldn't. This is the time where we can just put all that down a little bit. But we still value our health and our fitness, so we're still going to be training. And I think the biggest key, and this is what I do personally myself, is I don't drop everything. I just slow it down a little bit. Instead of going for such big intense sessions, I'm still training. I'm just, doing the fun things, the things that I like. If you have the ability to have a bit of downtime, you're going to sleep in a little bit more. You're just going to focus on all those things. But for a lot of us now, it's like, what do we do? Do we just keep indulging in this time? No, it's like if you've got goals for 2025 and you really want to start the year off strong, you can start by creating just the things that are needed right away. So before we can really understand what those things are, right, Well, we've got to understand, okay, we're going to start before the new year. So I'm going to get back into my routine, get back into my training. Okay, let's do that. And like for us, example, we're actually doing a New Year's Eve run here in Melbourne, Australia, where we're doing a 50-kilometer run on New Year's Eve. And this came about from conversations like this that I've had with a really good friend of mine, Anthony and Sarah from Doghouse Run Club. And we're like, we don't want to just go out and do nothing, and just drink and, impair ourselves. It's like, let's do something fun. Let's do something challenging, because not only is it going to make us feel good physically, but it's also the mindset that we're going to create for 2025 is let's do something really hard and really challenging. We started off with a few of us. We started off by our local community. We have now over 79 people RSVP'd with 4 days out to go from this event. And it's just showing that so many people are looking to do things that are challenging, that are fun, but that work in line with their health and their wellness. So if this is you, like, absolutely go. And if you can't get here to Melbourne and join us for this run, which the link is all in our socials and bios, is I invite you to do something on your own on New Year's Eve, something challenging. It could be a 10K run, a 5K run, a 50-kilometer run, and tag us in it and share it with us. We'd really love to see it, and we'll definitely reshare it as well, which is going to be cool. So we're gonna start before New Year's, right? We're gonna get that ball rolling in whatever capacity that is for you. Now, the next thing that we want to look at is goal setting. Now, new year, new goals, all those sorts of things. Goal setting is something that I do frequently, and I encourage all our community members, people who work with me. We're reflecting. We're reflecting on weeks. We're doing check-ins. We're always setting goals. We're always setting intentions. So what I want you to do is set a goal, right? And the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what do I want to achieve, right, in 2025? Now, that could be something as I want to do High Rocks Melbourne, which is going to come back around mid-year, right? That could be your goal. I want to get ready for that High Rocks race. A goal could be I want to get in the best shape of my life possible. What that looks like is I want to be, 5 kilos lighter. I want to gain muscle. It could be something like that. It could be other goals. Now, we are talking health and fitness related. You're talking about I want to build a business and make X amount of money. This probably isn't the goal setting talk that I want to be having with you, even though the principles are the same, by the way. They are the same. So, but let's keep it on track with health and fitness and High Rocks. So we got to figure out what it is that you want to achieve, because without that direction, it's literally like someone putting you in the middle of the desert and saying, okay, like, now go to your goal. You have a compass, but you just don't know where to go. You don't know if I should be going north or east or west. So you got to understand where it is. What direction are you going to be heading, right? The next thing you want to look at is identify, when do I need to achieve it? Like I mentioned, if your race or your goal is in halfway, 6 months down the track, mid-year, then you have to understand your timeline. Or is your goal at the end of next year, towards like November or December? Because these timelines then need different actions, right? Your goal might be in the next 6 to 12 weeks. So again, action needed and required is going to be very, very different. So you have to understand your timeline, right? Third thing you want to look at is, why do you want this? Like, why is this a goal, right? What by doing this, like, do you hope to gain from it? If you can't understand your why behind doing something and why it means to you, then it could be something that, might just sound good for now, but when you actually have to do all the hard work and, focus and follow a plan and stay within structure, if you don't have a strong enough why, you will stop working hard towards that goal, right? This goes in line with, this is what I really say, and this is what resonates way more with me, and it might resonate more with you. Sometimes it's hard to figure out why we want something, but the way that I look at it is we have to look at our values. So as a human being, like, what are your values? What drives you? So does health and fitness drive you? Is that a value of yours? Is socializing, having social interactions with people, is that a value? Is experience a value? Is, doing hard things a value of yours? Is family of value, friends of value, all these things. There's so many different values that drive us as humans and individuals. And when you look at like the sport of high rocks and doing a high rocks race, you have to look at how does this sport or how does this event or how does setting a goal in this area, how does it align with my values? Because if it doesn't, right, then you got to really ask yourself, why am I going to do high rocks? Like, what about high rocks? What about this style of training am I really attracted to? But if it does align with your values, right, then you're going to start to create your why and your meaning behind it. It's going to become very fulfilling. So like, I know for myself, right, because I do a lot of this myself, like a value of mine is health and fitness. So by doing high rocks, it meets one of my key core values. Another one of my values is I love hanging out. Like I love social interactions with friends. Like that means a lot to me, is having good friends around me and doing good things with friends. So when I have a lot of friends who also do high rocks, if you ever see our High Rocks Friday crew, you can start to see how our values align so well together, because we love getting in shape, we love fitness, but we also love hanging out with friends that are like-minded. So we're really starting to meet the values. I really love experiences. Like experiences is definitely one of my key values. I don't like just doing things. I love to create an awesome experience. So high rocks, if you've been to a high rocks, is an amazing experience. And how much even cooler is it when you go to different states, different countries, you get to do that with friends, and I get to do my health and fitness. You can really start to see now how all of my values are starting to get aligned with high rocks and this goal of competing in high rocks. Another value of mine, and this is to be transparent and share, is like I love business. Like I want wealth creation. I want to create a career that, makes me money, that allows me to do the things I love in life. Don't necessarily need to be a billionaire, but it's like, a career and business, and that is really important to me. Hence why we've created, Hybrid Heroes. So I get to do high rocks, I get to do fitness, I get to do it with friends, and I can make this a business. See how it's like there is such a why, there is such alignment in those values with mine. So this is examples for you. So I really hope the values is really an important one. So for you, I think what's really important, this is a task you can do, is you can write all your values down, right? And typically you can chunk them into, so if you're like, I love hanging out with family and friends, well, you can call that family and friends, right? So you make these categories, typically come up with like 6, right? 6 core key values, right? Then you just want to like work backwards a little bit from there. So then create goals that align with those values. And it's really clear too, because then if you create a goal that doesn't align with those values, it's very, very easy. Then you just should not be doing that thing, right? So that is why what I'm going to talk about next, right, is the idea that you do not need to get motivated, right? And I'll talk about that because when we have goals that are in line with our values, we don't necessarily need motivation then, because we have that strong why behind us. And again, this idea of motivation, if you have a goal that is not in line with your values, well, then you probably need motivation in the short term, right? But I'm gonna define what motivation is, and I got this from Stephen Bartlett. If anyone knows him, Diary CEO. But I went to one of his talks, and it was amazing. And he said this, and this was really cool. It was like motivation is when there was like a formula. So it's like motivation is when perceived value is greater than perceived loss, right? So whenever you can sort of go, the gain is more than the loss, then you are motivated, right? So let's think about, you've just come out of New Year's, you're feeling a bit sad for yourself, you've ate too much food. So you're like, I'm going to sign up to High Rocks because the perceived value is that it's going to get me in shape, and all of the training and all the hard work and all the things I have to do, that loss doesn't outweigh like the pain I feel right now, because I really, really want to get in great shape, right? Now, what happens with a lot of us as well is, we start to get back into shape, right? We start to get training again. We start to get consistent. We start to, we're not partying and drinking, doing those things. Now the pain's not as great anymore. You're starting to feel a bit better about yourself. The weight's come down. now that pain is sort of gone. And it's like, okay, I'm doing all this hard work. I'm training. The race is coming up. Like, I got to train really hard for the race. I got to learn the race. We got to travel. We got to do all these things. Now it's like, oh, now we'll see all of those things that you have to do. Now the loss of time, the loss of energy, the effort. Now that is greater than the gain, because before the gain was, I want to feel good. Now you are feeling good. And now that course of action doesn't make sense. So there is no motivation at that point, right? So this is why motivation will ultimately sometimes fail, is because there always needs to be a greater gain to it, right? If I circle back and go back to your values, right? Because when you are in line with your values, it doesn't necessarily mean that everything you do, you're happy about, right? Like, I'm not happy about getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning so I can just eat some rice cakes and bananas. So when I run at 6 a.m., I've got some fuel for my 90-minute jog that I have to go on. It doesn't necessarily motivate me, especially when I've only had 5 hours of sleep, right? But I know that that is in line with my bigger goals, right? I want to achieve a goal, and sometimes I got to be disciplined and do the things I don't necessarily want to do or I'm not motivated to do, but I know it will help me achieve the goals, right, that are in line with my values. So, motivation is a great thing when you have it, but it can also, when you don't have it, it can be almost the thing that destroys you and destructs everything really, really quickly. So anyway, that there. So if you're feeling like you're just ultra motivated right now to do something, I don't want to say don't use that in a positive way, but what I do want to say to you is, right, be wary. Start to think a bit deeper on it and be wary of, why am I so motivated right now? What is really the thing? What is the root cause of this motivation? And I'm going to talk about this next, right? And how we have to look at it differently if we want long-term results, right? So again, we need to move away from this like motivated, just, inspired state, typically because there's a lot of pain there. Is we have to start to think long-term, right? We have to think, not so immediate. Another word for this that I love is sustainability, right? We have to go, is the actions that I want to take now and the result I want to get, I want it because it's going to be in line with my values. It's going to work towards the thing I want. But then the question is, how long do you want to keep that thing, right? Well, it's like, so that thing could be, feeling great, being really fit, feeling really good about yourself mentally and physically. So do you want that just for the next 6 months, or do you want that for the rest of your life, right? Or for, much longer than 6 months. So if that is the case, and it is for most of us, it's like, well, okay, well, if I get ultra motivated and if I just if I go at it in an unsustainable way, right, it might feel good initially. Like, I'm talking like in the first few days, the first couple weeks, but then all of a sudden it starts to get really hard to sustain, to keep up the intensity, to do all the training, as well as the body just will start to be a bit stressed. It will start to be a bit inflamed. And it's like you potentially now are working away from the thing that you even wanted, which was to feel good. Now you're feeling bad, you're training really hard. And the worst thing that can happen, and it happens so many times, is then people create that relationship with that, right? Sometimes people have been training very unsustainable for like 6 months, just hanging on, just avoiding burnout. And then the idea of slowing down just like feels like they're gonna, they can't do it, because then they feel like they're failing, or, they're not going to keep getting the results that they've been, just hanging on for dear life achieving. So right from the word go, if you're starting 2025, if you've had a little bit of a break, right, you have to go, all right, I need to slow it down. I need to start sustainable, right? Because sustainability I can do for a long time. Sustainability is I can build on that, right, with consistency and habit stacking. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well, right? But if I can feel really good about myself, and if I can be achieving my goals, and I'm doing it in a way that's sustainable with my life, with my family, with my friends, with my work commitments, like, now that is the ultimate result that you want to achieve right there. So this is a huge point that is really about how to really set yourself up for an amazing 2025. All right. So one of the biggest mistakes, right? So when it comes to this idea of Damien, how do we create sustainability? How do I know what that is for me, right? Well, one of the biggest mistakes that I see in so many people, I've done this myself as well, is we just don't have a structure to follow, right? If you are just going out there going, okay, well, this idea of sustainability is just in my head. It's something that I don't actually write down. I haven't actually thought about it properly. It's just something that I'm just feeling my way through, right? Now, this will work 10% of the time for a little while, but you need to create a plan and some structure to follow. And again, this is one of the biggest mistakes. And as a coach, what is one of the biggest things that I do and I provide for people when they start working with me is I do that thinking for them. Is I provide a structure, I give them a plan to follow, and long behold, they do that and then they get an amazing result, right? So a lot of the times our failures, the reason why we don't achieve what we want to achieve is because we keep changing the plan. We keep going off course and we keep going off feel, which is based on emotion. And if we just base it on emotion, it's not actually always true what is happening. But when you have a plan in place, and sometimes a plan does not work, but that's, still a great outcome, because if you follow a set plan and you don't get the desired outcome, now exactly, it's very accurate. You can say, okay, well, we can revise that plan. Why? Because we did this and it didn't work. But that's why, again, having experienced coaches and people that help you put that plan together, right, will have you learn from all of their mistakes, right? So that's definitely the biggest benefit of working, obviously, with an expert and a coach. Right? Your plan as well, and creating structure, right? It goes back to the original questions in your goal setting is, what is your goal? What is your timeline? And then what do you need to focus on, right? All of these considerations. So again, goal, your timeline, and your focus all need to go into that plan. So again, if you don't create a plan, it's very hard to juggle and just, always ask yourself those three things at every given point. So when you sit down and you can put a plan in place, then you got to go, okay, well, what's the goal? I want to train for a high rocks race. When's my timeline? I've got 6 months, right? So awesome. I've got 6 months, which means, I've got 24 weeks there that I can, now have my focus right now, right? Let's just say in the first 6 weeks can be about, building endurance. So I'm going to do lots of long, slow runs. I'm going to do some strength training in the gym, and that's my focus. Then the next 6 weeks, my focus is going to be, incorporating some more tempo running and starting to go a little bit faster in some of my longer runs, and now doing some high intensity interval training, like circuit training, high rock style training. And then, so forth, so on. So see how by having a plan, you can now start to structure how you are going to meet your goal, right? Rather than just going, okay, goal, high rocks, let's start right now, and just doing whatever and just going off feel, right? Again, there's a sequence to everything, right? To get the best out of it. And that is what structuring does. It allows you to make sure you take the right action at the right time. So not only can you achieve the goal to the best of its abilities, but so you make the most of your time. This is, again, why when I work with a lot of people, and what we do, especially at Hybrid Heroes, is we give people the right plan and give them the right steps. And most of the time people can achieve incredible results, and we get so much better results with people. Like people's run paces improve, people's strengths increases, people's ability to do high rocks gets dramatically better, not because they got to do 6 sessions a week and they got to kill themselves. Is again, we just get them doing the right things at the right time. It's like bang for buck, efficiency in the work they put in, right? And they get the most out of it. So you've all probably experienced this at some point, right? And even though you've experienced it, you followed a plan somewhere along your journey, and you did that, and it's like we then forget that it was the structure and a plan that helped us. And now we're just using past experiences and just sort of a bit from there and a bit from what you now see on Instagram and a bit from a podcast. And now you're just back to winging it. Get back to your structure, get back to your plan. And I guarantee your results will come through so much better. And it's actually a lot easier to do weekly as well. Like mentally, there's less to think about. Okay. So structure, we talked about sustainability. Okay. Because with sustainability as well, when we're looking at it, it's like, well, high rocks racing and getting ready for a high rocks, there is a time to be unsustainable, right? So the race itself is unsustainable. Like, you're not meant to be able to do race pace all year round. You only want to do race pace for the event, right? Because it's super hard and challenging. So to add on to that, right, is we've got to understand there is a time to be unsustainable. So we always got to understand that this sustainability or this structure is always building to a peak. And then we have to come off that peak as well and get back down to sustainable efforts. So I hope that sort of makes a little bit of sense, because it's not just everything needs to be sustainable. It needs to start off ultra sustainable, right? And if you don't have a race, if you just love the high rock style of training, then you actually don't ever need to build to a peak, right? You just keep it quite just a straight line. Is just you're always improve, and you can still always be making improvements. I something I've always said over many years doing personal training is, our goal is to get you really good at 80% of fitness, right? And that 80% always increases. Because if you're going 100%, again, it's unsustainable. It's not going to last all year round. But 80% we can. We can go into a workout and give it our good 80%, have a really good workout, still get, good adaptations from it, right? But we don't have to kill ourselves, right? Because again, training too hard comes with other side effects as well, like increased cortisol, increased stress, increased likelihood of injury, strain on the body, like joint, all this kind of stuff. So working really, really high intensity all the time is not a healthy thing. So yeah, just to add that in, because that is a really, really important point. Okay, so when you're getting back into the new year, right? Okay, I've got some goals, I've got some values, right? I want to be sustainable. I'm gonna create a plan, right? Now this tip here is just start small. Do not go all out, right? Do not set, okay, this is the most ideal plan. This ties back into the timeline. We've got to understand timeline. Right? So if your timeline is stretched out, you've got 6 months, you've got 3 months, then just start slow. Start slower, and then it will get faster or more volume and intensity as time goes on. But if you're coming off, time off, holidays, bit of drinking, bit of overeating, if you're coming off, just a little bit of indulging and your body's not in peak condition, right? Do not expect to just get straight back into it and start loading up that barbell heavy and start running really fast. Please, for the love of God, do not do that. Start back really, really small. That might mean a 20-minute jog where normally you go out and do 60 minutes. It doesn't matter. Just start small. Start to build consistency and routine back first. And the body will still need a couple weeks to readjust to routine, but just to flush out some of the toxins, some of the things that you've put into it over the holiday period, whether that's just excess salt from salty foods or processed foods, bit of alcohol, whatever it is. Not only will this help your body get back into peak condition, but it will give you then more confidence, and you'll feel so much better about yourself as you then lean into your new structure in 2025. In this time as well, because a lot of us, we love just tackling the training. We love getting out there and getting a good sweat on, and we think that this is a great way to solve all our, health related or our performance related problems, right? But it's not. The other thing that we have to look at is getting your nutrition dialed back in. Yes. Okay. So with all this, right, take a bit of extra time to make sure you can get to the grocery store. Make sure you can get some good foods in the fridge. Make sure you can do some meal prep and prep some good meals for you to eat, right? Getting your nutrition, like your protocol, your timing of foods, the type of foods, getting your macros, like getting good protein in, getting good carbs back in, hydration as well, like making sure you're getting plenty of fluids back into the body, right, is so key to starting your year right. Okay, so again, it's not always just about the training, right? Really start to focus on getting good nutrition back in. Now, do you need to be like eating like an Olympian? Like, no, you don't, right? It just needs to be, again, like training, it just needs to be better than what it was last week. A little bit, you might have no meals prepped this week. Next week, you might just have your lunches prepped. You might have 5 meals for the week prepped. You just might have some foods in the fridge that are ready to go to eat. Just every week, just start to focus on how can I, like training, just slowly get a little bit better. How, with nutrition, can we start to nutritionally get better week by week? That could even be like just getting water bottles, right? Buying a whole bunch of brand new water bottles, putting them in the fridge so it's easy to drink water, right? Having just water available all the time for you is going to be really, really important. Okay, what you also want to look at is finding a support network, right? This is a really, really key point. All of these are really key points, hence why it's on the episode. But finding a support network is so crucial. I know for myself, again, I run Hybrid Heroes, I train, I compete, I do all these things. But there are so many workouts that I would struggle to do if I didn't have my friends and people around me there to do it with. Again, running is one of those. A big shout out to Gab. We run every Wednesday morning. Without her being there, I would have slept in so many times. Our Friday sessions that we do, like we got such a big crew that, has formed from over the year. And, without that, like I can't say I would have been as consistent with my own training. Even in my life, I've always had a coach or a mentor in some way. And I think this is really, really important. And even like with what we're doing with Hybrid Heroes, it's not just all my ideas and creations. It's come from all those positive experiences from people around me, from networks, from support groups, why we're doing a lot of things we're doing, because I want to create that support for people as well. So if you have friends who are on, same values, are wanting to achieve the same goals, really make an effort to make sure you get around them, don't just kind of like, and I see it a lot of the times too, people just, they're afraid to ask. It's like, no, tell them, hey, do you want to catch up at this time every single week and we can both do a workout and work towards this goal of ours? Create that time, but you have to prioritize it and you have to do something. You actually have to go and ask someone. If you're not part of Hybrid Heroes, our online community, we have a free online community, and that's why it's for free. It's there to provide support for people so that they can ask questions, they can hear from others, and we can provide insights to help you. And just that alone can make you feel like you have support, like you have someone in your corner, you have someone that you can talk to, and that will help you work towards your goals of doing high rocks. So if we can provide that for you, like I'm so happy, and I really invite you to make sure you're in that group. And if you are in that group, like use the group as well. You have to do something. It's not all a one-way street. You have to actually engage in it and you have to log on to it. I know you have to open up the app and go in there and look at all the posts. But if it really means something to you, you will do that. You got the support there. So please, again, this is just a resource for you. Just like this podcast, if you're listening all the way through, again, you're not in this alone and you can reach out anytime. We're definitely here to support. Now, along this journey in 2025, we've spoken about this whole episode is about, not being motivated, being sustainable, having goals that are in line with your values. Setting the task to do a high rocks is a hard challenge in and of itself. So you have to just understand. And if you're someone that does a lot of this, incredible. And if you're someone who is quite new to it, I'm just really going to highlight this next point, because sometimes some people fight it because they don't want to be this person, right? Maybe because they've had a friend that was a bit too, drink too much of the Kool-Aid, as you could say. Or maybe you're just not really exposed to it and, you don't know where to start, or you just haven't really felt the benefit of it. But personal development, right? It is such a huge key to success. It's literally the gateway to all of your great results. Now, personal development is more than just reading a Tony Robbins book, right? Or, just listening to a YouTube video. Personal development, I think, it really is about the idea and the mindset of always wanting to be better as a human, really wanting to uncover and understand why you do the things you do, what drives you, what motivates you, and really start to understand that, hard things, generally the biggest rewards in our life, the things that are most fulfilling, come around hard things. So it's like, how do we equip ourselves with the mental, tools to keep pushing through all of these hard challenges that, again, just come with all the great things in life. So you have to develop personally, and taking on information is one thing, but using it, applying it, and actually overcoming hard situations and hard challenges is the idea of personal development. So if you're not bought into that idea of picking up a book around personal development, listening to great audios, listening to your Tony Robbins, and really getting on board that a lot of your breakthroughs come through your physical ones as well, all start in the mind. And if you are not putting in good nutritional mindset information I would say on a daily basis, right? But let's say weekly basis, then you are really there will be a reason why you will only get so far, right? So I really encourage you to start your journey of personal development if you haven't already, or to re-engage in it, because it's like a muscle, right? You might have trained it a lot 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, but if you put it down, it does weaken that mindset muscle. So that's my 2 cents there around personal development. I engage in it every single day. I'm listening or reading something, and it's so important, right? To, again, creating a strong mindset to get you through hard things. So, guys, huge episode, all right? Lots of little takeaways from there. And again, this is about starting 2025 off the right way. If you're listening to this in 2025, let's go. Let's get into it. You now, again, go back to, just put all these things into place. It doesn't matter if you listen to this 4 weeks into 2025. It's about, life is just starting where you are right now. You only have the now and what we can do from now moving forward. All right. So I also want to provide solutions. I've given you a lot of knowledge, right? But what can you do? What can you do that I know will absolutely, if I was to simplify this, right, in a few easy steps that I know is going to help you towards goals of getting in shape and achieving high rocks? Well, this is what I encourage you to do. First of all, join our Hybrid Heroes community. We have that on school. Link is below here. Again, once you're in there, we have a community, 1,000+ people from all around the world doing high rocks that you can engage with. You can message me directly in there to ask me questions about anything, fitness, training, personal development. You can ask me what book I would recommend for you. We have video resources in there around all of High Rocks, how to do all the movements, plus also all of our live recordings that I've ever done on YouTube and in coach calls that were only used to be exclusive to a premium group. We've put it all now into our free community. There is so much content there, but you got resources there. So jump into that community. We're going to help you. Second thing that I would love to offer you is that if you are looking for that structure, if you know, all right, I want to get into do a High Rocks, and you know what? I want structure. I want a training program. I want to know what to do every single week. Well, we have our training app, Hybrid Heroes training app, that you can subscribe to. You get access to every single one of our training programs that we have available. We have 12-week High Rocks Ready programs. We have a 4-week High Rocks program. We have run-specific programs. And we have these tailored to your fitness level as well. So you can do a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, which have different training lengths to not only the session, but also how many sessions a week. So we have a program that can be as tailored as we can on our end without going into the one-on-one coaching space. to help you. And then from there, you can talk to me directly. You still get direct access in your inbox to me to then help you make those decisions on how to make it more tailored for you, to support you along the way. So there's a link below as well. You get a 7-day free trial. You can get in there, check it all out, start. If it's not for you, you can cancel. It's as simple as that. So training programs are there, right? And then the third thing is just follow the plan and the structure and just execute it to the best of your ability. And I guarantee you will be Hyrox ready. You will be in great shape, right? And you will be well in line with achieving your goals. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Again, without you, we do not have a business. We do not have a community. So I really appreciate you. Keep training hard. Let's kick off 2025 the right way. And until then, I will see you at the next Hyrox race. Let's go, everyone.